Have you ever wondered how to do animation on scroll in React? This is how I started this little project. I opened Google, then I typed in React animation on scroll. I clicked on the first page what is come out. Never used this npm package before. I looked at the documentation, then I started writing some code, and I end up with this little demo project. Explore our solar system. In this project, we will learn how to use useRef for a smooth scroll, like this. Then we will be implementing React animation on scroll. So when I'm scrolling, it gets animated in. We will learn how to use React Portal to create a model. So if I click this, we're gonna have a pop-in model. Also to fetch data from our local JSON file. So all this data is coming from our local JSON file. We got our data from my custom-made API. Then we will create this animated footer, where we will use a callback function for this spaceship. Use a callback function to fire the typewriter only after when the spaceship animation is finished. If you're interested in how I build this project, then follow the video with me, or use the timestamp and click through the video for the parts that you are interested in. I am Swan, welcome to my next project, and let's get started. I never used this package before, I just googled it last time, and I decided to make a project. We will see how it works. It feels easy, there is pros and cons. So the React component to animate elements on scroll with animate CSS. So we're going to use animate CSS, and we have all the classes here. So we can have a fade out, fade right, fade left, fade on down big. So this is the exit, we have the fading in entrance. So we have all these anime.css classes. Then to start this project, I'm going to use width, and let's jump in and go to the get starting. To get started, we need npm create width. Let's copy this. So I'm going to use Visual Studio Code for this project. Let's paste this in, npm create width, give a name. The project name should be solar system, but you can give your project name whatever you want. Enter. We need to choose React and JavaScript. Now cd solar system, enter, npm install. And it's done. So npm run dev, and let's see what we got. And we got our boilerplate, which is a Vite plus React. Now, to use this project, let's go through. We have to install npm install React animation on scroll. Let's copy this, go back here, Ctrl C, exit, and install this. Is done. Then we need npm install animate CSS, install it. This is done. The next step, we have to import animate CSS to your project. I am importing this to my project here. Let's go into the project, source folder, and the main JSX, and I'm going to import it here. Save it. This is done, and let's have a look what we have. We have the app.jsx. We don't need anything from here, so let's delete it. And we don't need this class name, solar system. We don't need a count. We don't need app.css. We don't need the React logo and use state either. Save it. Then app.css, delete. Let's go to the recycle bin. And we have the main index.css from here to down. Deleted. We don't need that either. And we don't need the background color either. Save it. And this is done. And let's see what we got now. For us to see that, we have to run again npm run dev. And we have our solar system. Now, in the source folder, let's create a new folder. Give a name components. And inside in the components, I'm creating a demo.jsx. Because I'm using Vite, this is JSX. In React you use JavaScript, but this is JSX. Okay, let's use the shortcut. Done, we got a boilerplate. Delete this, we don't need it. And this is coming from a demo. This is good. Here we have to import it. Import demo, and into our solar system we can give a name demo, and this should be an empty. Save it. Done. So we got our demo. Let's see. Yes, we got a demo. Through this project, I'm going to use the modular styling, which is you have to create a new file, give it the same name, demo dot, and you have to give a second name as a module, module.css. And this will be export an object. So if I give a name test and color red, so in order to use that, we have to go to demo. I have to import this. Import. You can give this any name, whatever you want, but I like to give styles. This will be an object, and from demo.modular.css. And here, let's console.log type of styles, and go to your project, inspect, and go to the console, and we have this object. So this is an object. Now let's go back to the terminal, and how we can use this. We can use this as an object. We can give a class name, and in the class name I can give this styles.test, and let's have a look. Yes, and our demo is in red now. So our style system is working. If you want, you can destructure test from a styles object, and it's still the same. Let's have a look. Just this for green, and is it green now? So we can destructuring if you want it, which is probably makes sense. So this is the test. This will be a class name, which is coming from here. Now go back to our website, go back to the npm, and you have to import animation on scroll. So let's import this. Copy, and in our demo, let's import animation on scroll. This is how we can use it, and you give a text. And in animation on scroll, and we can choose an animation attribute and the class name animate bounce in. Where these names is coming, it's coming from the anime.css, and it's all coming from here. You can copy them, like I give example, copy this, rotate down left, copy, go back to the terminal, and you just paste again now. So we have animate, rotate in down left. So this is how we're going to experiment all the animation on scrolls. It's super easy to use. On the demo, I wanted to build some demo sites. So let's have a look. Delete this. We don't need it. Delete the demo. This is a fragment. Let's create a div, and inside in the div I want an h1 react animation on scroll. I want for this one a class name, and the class name should be pages. I want a destructure from this pages, but we haven't created yet. So let's create pages. In the pages, what I want the min height 100, viewport height, min width should be 100, viewport width, display flex, because I want to center the h1, so justify content center, and place items center, flex direction will be column, and let's give a border bottom 2 pixel, set solid, and weight. Okay, let's save this. We can see it is centered now. Go back to the demo, create another pages. Let's copy this, Ctrl C, Ctrl V, and inside here, in animate fade in, and let's use the animate on scroll. So here, animate on scroll. Okay, save it. Now go back to the site and let's have a look. So when you give animate on scroll, we need to give an attribute animate in, and then the class animate in equal to, and we should choose the animate fade in. We go here and go to the fades. This is a fade in. Copy, go back here and just paste it. This should be done. Let's have a look. Yes, animate is fade in. Now for the h1, I would love to give a class name, and this class name should be pages header. That's the structure from here. Pages header, good, and it's not exist yet. Let's create it. Pages header, and let's give a border 1 pixel, solid salmon, padding 2 rem and 3 rem, top to bottom 2 rem, and on the left to right 3 rem. Background color should be black, but I want a little bit of fades. So let's go down to, yeah, it's good. And box shadow 5 pixel, 5 pixel, 5 pixel, and let's do another black. Okay, and I want this 0.8. Good. Let's have a look what we have. in animate fade in. So we got the on scroll fade in. This is how it works. It's super easy. We have a React app, and on animation is just fading in. Okay, let's give another example here. I'm gonna copy these pages, and I want this in and animate heartbeat. So let's change this heartbeat, save it, animate fade in, animate heartbeat. If you go back to the site, let's go back. The offset is 150. The viewport is by default 150 pixels from the top and bottom of the screen. When part of an element is within the viewport, animation is triggered. Okay, this is the animation in what we use, but we can use the animation out as well. So let's use this animation out in this one, the fade in one. Animate out and animate fade. I'm guessing it will be out. So go down slowly, it's fade in, let's go out, and this fades out, fades in, fade out, good. Then we can have a duration with an invisible default as false. This is the initial visible is false, let's put this to true, for here, for this one. Let's put this to true, okay. So this is never go out, this is always going to be in. Good. Then we can put a delay as well. Default is 0. How long the delay animation is in milliseconds. Let's use the delay one. I want to use the delay one on this one. Delay, let's put 2000. So that's a 2 seconds. Let's refresh. 1, 2, start. Good. So the delays works. Then we can use animation only once. We can use a styler one. And this is where after animation is in, this is where we call the function. Let's do the next one. And this one should be an animate back in down. Good. And it's just animate only once and it stays on the page. So it's worked because we used the animate only once. If you don't put this in, they will go out from the page. Good. And let's take this out. And we can use another attribute, it's called duration. And let's put the duration 4. Let's refresh. And this is the duration. It takes time. Good. This is works. Then we can use the style attribute, because this allowed you to do the style inside. Color, let's lime green. This is just worked. Okay. The next example, we're gonna find out animation on scroll. We don't need it. Let's delete all of these. And this will be animate zoom in. So let's give this animate zoom in. Save it. And we got the animate zoom in. Good. From where did I get this? It's from here. Zoom in is this one. Animate zoom in. Just copy and paste. Okay, now we can use the function, the after animated in. So let's make it nicer. After animated in, create a function. We can call this any name, after animated in, and has a parameter x and console.log x. Let's see what we got here. Inspect, console, refresh, and let's go down. We got an object, and in the object we got 2 elements. Is in viewport and it's on screen. So this is on viewport as well, and this is on screen as well. Since we can have access this, we can make an if statement. If x dot, what was the name? In viewport console.log viewport, else if x on screen console.log on screen, else console.log nothing. Let's save this. Go down again. When it's got triggered. Now it is on the viewport. Good. Because we have a function, this could be so powerful. Import use state from React, then const color set color use state. By default I want this to be white. Okay. Down here in the H1 I can give an attribute of style, and inside I can use this color. Yes, use this as an empty string because we don't need it. So color. Now here, because when it's in the viewport, we can call the set color to be yellow. Let's see how this works. So go down. White. Oh yes, because style now it works. I misspelled it. Okay. So it's coming with white. Then now it works my green. Coming with green and becoming yellow. Yes, it is working now. So what happened here is we have this function, and as soon as when it's in the viewport, this function, the set color use state hook is get triggered and is changing the state to yellow, and this color is will be turning to be yellow. Good, I like it. Now this is for the demo, enough for the practice. You can play around all these animations, whichever you like, and let's build our main project. Close this demo. We don't need the demo, and we can comment this out because we don't need it. Let's create another component here. Component name should be header.jsx, and let's create header.module.css. Here our boilerplate, just a header. Here we need to import header, and let's use the header here. Good, we got a header, and import styles from header.module.css, and I want it to destructure again, const equal to styles, and let's make a test again. If it works, color red, test, class name, test. It's working, red. Okay. Before the header, in the assets, I want to copy the images and the video, what I am using for this project. You will find all these assets in the GitHub repository. The link will be in the description down below. This one. Okay, close this. We got the assets. Take off the test. We don't need it. No header. Also, this should be an empty fragment. The first will be the section of the video. Div is a video section. Inside, we're gonna have a filter, which is not necessary. I'm just using it. You can play around. We're gonna have a video. This is a self-closing. We're gonna have a header box. And here where we coming with the H1, explore. Another H1 with the span, R, and another H1, which will be solar system. Okay, what we got now? We got our Explorer solar system. Good. Let's give a name. This one, section video. Save it. It's not exist yet. This div gonna have a class name of section, forgot the parentheses, section video. And here, section video. Position, let's put this position relative. And the width 100%, and the height it will be 100 viewport height. Here I can import my video. Import video from. I need to go up to the assets, and this will be the Moon's MP4. Here in the source I can pass the video, and now we have our video. But for the video you can give some attributes: auto play, loop, and mute if there is any music or anything in the background. And now it works. For the video, I want to give a class name, video. Let's destructure from here. Video. And this should be width 100%, height 100%, and the object fit cover. Let's have a look. I've got the same name. Let's give video style. And here I should change this to style. Now it works. And the width is fixed. We don't have the bottom scroll bar down here. Good. In this div, I want to give a filter. Class name of filter. And destructure the filter from here. Filter, save. Filter, position, absolute. Top 0, left 0, width 100%, height is 100%. Background color, I give just for now, for testing purposes, a red. And now we have everything red. But I don't want red, I want this just a little different. Now we can change this, maybe 2. Maybe it's too purple. You can play around with this color. If you don't want, you don't have to put a filter. Back to our header. We have this box, the header box, where it's located over our h1 elements. So let's give a class name of header box. And let's destructure again. Header box. Give a style for that. Header box. I want to center this to the page. Position absolute and top 50%, left 50%, and the transform translate negative 50%. And now it's perfectly centered in the middle. Negative 50%. Yes, it's perfectly centered. We have our header. I should give them a class name. Text. Let's destructure the text. And copy this and place it into the rest one as well. Oh, here. Class name text. Save it. Let's type this text. I want this to be white. Font size should be 3 rem. Text align center. Padding 1.5 rem. Border radius 15 pixel. Box shadow 0 pixel, 0 pixel, 5 pixel, 5 pixel, and it should be black, but I want to change this to RGB to 0.8. And yes, we got a full transparent, like a button style. I believe we have a span as well. Span, color, black, and span, class name of span. Good, this is black. Also, cursor should be pointer, because I want this to be like a button. Now when we center this, I want to display this as a flex box. And place item center and flex direction column. Good. I think we finished our header section. Let's create the next one, which is going to be the bigger one. I call this the planet section. So we can close this now. We will come back to this. Components, let's create another component. New file and planets.jsx. And immediately we should create our planets.module.css. Okay. Delete. Import our styles in the first place from planets module.css. We got our planets. We need to import our planets here. Import planets. And the next section will be the planets. Yes, we got down here in the bottom. Now to work with planets, I need to use an API because we need some data. So if I go to the public folder, we have the read.svg, which one we don't need it. But if I want to make a local JSON fetch API, I can make it from there. So let's copy. And we got our JSON, and this is how the JSON looks. I created it. This is just a solar system JSON file. We got everything. We got ID, we got images, we got everything. It works locally, so obviously the images goes locally. I go back to here and I type in /solar system.json. Then we have a JSON file here. I can make an HTTP request, a GET request for here, and I can fetch the data. Okay, this is what we're going to do. On our planets we need to import everything. We will need the animation on scroll. We got our styles, and pretty much this is it now. But first, go back to the main app component. And in the app component, we need to bring in useEffect. Use state and useEffect. Import use state from React, and we need useEffect as well. We can make our API call here. So first we have the data, const data, set data. This is where we're going to set up our state, the data, which will coming from our JSON file. Let's put this in as empty array and use our useEffect, and the callback function. And the second option, I'm going to give an empty array. Now before I use useEffect, I want to install Axios npm. To use Axios, you have to install npm install Axios. This is just making an HTTP request for the browser. So stop the server, install Axios, and run the server again. Good, this is done. We need to bring in Axios, bring in here in the top level, import Axios from Axios. Then in a useEffect, we can call Axios.get, and where do we get this? To your local host, which is in my case is this one. Copy this, go back, make a get request to there, /solar system.json. Then we need to catch this res, and I want to see if we catched it. Console.log res.data. Let's see what we got. We have our array with these 11 objects. This is details, object, radius. Good. Instead of to console.log our data, what we should do, we should set data to res.data, so response for data. And now, if we console.log data, we're gonna have a data. Console.log data. Let's do .catch. Error. Console.log. Error. Set data is not a function. Oh, this should be a use state and an empty array. You probably see this before me. These mistakes are happening when you're coding and recording the same time. Now should everything will work? Yes. So the first 2 times when it's got load is empty, then it's got populated. This is our state. Good. Now for this data, we have to pass it down as a props. Data as data. In the planets, we should catch it. Data. Have we still got the data? What do we have? Yes, we still got our data. So since data is an array, let's go down here. We can make our logic here. If data.length greater than 0, so basically we have some data, then do this. Otherwise, just no data. The data.map, and this is going to be the planet and the So we want to loop through our data. I want data should have a key, because key is important. And which the key I give planet.id. Then we're gonna have an image, the self-closing tag. This is where we're gonna have our image. Image will be source planet.image. Save it. Ooh, we got all the images, all the planets. Obviously, we're going to style these, but it's looking good. Then I'm gonna have another div inside, and inside in that div will be the h1 with the planet name. Next one will be the paragraph, distance from the sun, and will be the planet dot distance. Next one will be another paragraph with planet dot loc, which is the location. Good, save it. We got some data. 5th planet in our solar system. 6th planet in our solar system. Pluto, 9th dwarf planet in the Kuiper belt. Good. We got some data. I like when we're working with APIs, it's good, even if you're private one, but it's quite handy. All the data is coming from here. Under here, I will have a button right now. Button, which is says more details, like more details. This will be got changed for a component. Let's get into styling, and after we can go to the animation. The main div should have a class name, section planet, and here const section planet from the styles section planet. First give a background image URL back to assets, and will be the background galaxy PNG. This is what we got now, but we will fix it. Getting there. Min height will be 100%. Background repeat will be no repeat. Background attachment will be fixed. Background position will be center. And background size should be cover. Display flex, because inside the items I want to position them. Justify content space I want evenly. Place items center. Padding top 300 pixel. And padding bottom again 300 pixel. Let's save it. And now we have a nice fixed background. It feels like a sticky one, but it's not sticky. Okay, we got the image. Should be width 25 rem. And in the image here, let's destructure image and give a class name. Class name image. Ooh, look at that. Getting there. Now we have the card section, and in the card I want the width 25 viewport width. Box shadow, it will be the same what we used in the other one, in the top one. So basically 0 pixel, 0 pixel, 5 pixel, 5 pixel. Let's put black, and I can choose to, it's easier to write out this way, the RGB, and should be 0.8. Padding to rem, font size 1.7 rem, line height 1.3, and border radius 10 pixel. Let's save it, and we need to destructure the card here. Card, and we should give a style for our card, which is this div. Class name card. Now we can see the changes. Yes, now we have the card. Good. On the card, when you hover, I want to change a little bit the background color. Again, I'm going to black. Hold this down. I want to change this to 35. Let's have a look. Yes. And header, font size 3.5 rem. I want to destructure the header. Class name header, just a little bit bigger. We got all the data. Now let's make some animation. We already bring this in, animate on scroll. So the first animation I want, animate on scroll. I want this to happen on the image. Animate in, animate zoom in. And I want the duration 4. Perfectly working. And let's copy this. I don't have to write out. In the whole div section, copy. And the bottom part should be finished after this div. And the animation what I want is, I want this sliding and up. Yes, this is what I'm looking for. You can choose which whenever you want. So sliding and up animation. And the duration should be 3. Save it. Good. Good. You can change this however you want, however you like it. But this is working. I like it. Now let's work on the functionality. When you click on these buttons, and it will be a smooth scroll to here. Let's work on that, and for that we're gonna use the power of the useRef. So we have to import this in. useRef, rough, const ref equal to useRef. Let's give this to null. We have the header, and for the header we have to pass down a prop, and this prop should be on click, and in on click handle click, and this handle click should be get created here. Const handle click equal to an arrow function, and ref.current scroll into view, and I want the behavior to be smooth. Save it. And this handle click, we need to go to the header JSX. We need to bring this in, handle click, on click. We bring in the props, and this all goes to here, to the H1. And then the H1, let's use an alt, press alt, and then we can write, and here I want an on click, and this should call the on click. This should be on click. Usually I use camera case, on click. Let's save this, and let me go back. How did I wrote it? Yeah, it's a camera case. Good. Before we do this, let's console.log clicked if it's worked. Inspect. Did I mistyped again? And I just have to refresh the page. Did everything fine. So when I click here, clicked 3 times, 4, 5. Okay, now let's delete this and uncomment this. And in the planets, I need to pass down a prop, which is smooth. I call this smooth scroll, and we need to pass it down the ref inside, which is the useRef here. Okay, and the ref, so the smooth scroll, go to the planets. We need to destructure smooth scroll, and in the top div here, I want to give a ref with a smooth scroll. And let's save this and have a look if it works. And works perfectly fine. Or the button? Yes. The next functionality what we need to work is the button. And when we have the button, so the pop-up model, let's do the button first. This is a button. Put an on click on it. On click. And for now, I just wanted to console.log clicked. So I like to test it everything before I do. Merkur inspect, clicked. Okay, the click is working. So what do we want to do in this click? We wanted to bring a modal. This will be a separate component. Let's go and create a modal.jsx and create modal.css. Good. We have too many things open here. Let's close the planet. We don't need it. Modal. We need the planet. We don't need a header. We don't need the app.jsx now. I don't like to keep it too many windows is open. Now in the modal, let's create our boilerplate. And I wanted to bring this modal in after here. So we got a modal. We need to bring it in. Import modal. And where it is now. Should be in the bottom. Yes, we got a modal in here. When you click on this button, I wanted to have a state. So originally the modal is false, is not visible. When I click on the button, I wanted to change this to true. Then I want another state. If I click in this button, on click, I can console.log planet.name, and I can show you which one was clicked. So the Pluto was clicked. Come on, stop. Saturnus was clicked, and so on, so on. So we have the Venus was clicked. So we got all this data. So I wanted to save this in the state. Let's bring in import use state from React and create our state. Const. The first one will be the modal open and set modal, not modal open and set modal open and hopefully this time I'm not forgetting use state, and this should be false by default. And the next one will be model planet and set model planet. Again, use state null. By origin, I give this to null. But when we click on this, on the button, open curly braces, first set model open should be true, and set model planet should be the planet. Up here, we can console.log model planet. Not model. Let's give a try for this. Okay, so we got null, 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 null. Yes. Let's go down and click on this. And there you go, we got an object. And the object, it says, we got the image, we got the ID 0, and we got the name sun. We got all the data populated in the state. Good. When is it true? I wanted to show the model. So now we know we got the data. So the onClick is working. We need to work in our model component. So let's delete this model and give another div. And the first one should be an empty one. Is a fragment. And this should be 2 div. So the first one will be a background. So class name background. I forgot to import styles from module.css, and the background should be position fixed, and I want it to stretch to the whole page. So top left 0, bottom 0, right 0, and should be in the top of everything, so z index 40. And I want the background color, again use my technique black, and let's choose an opacity 0.4. So we got a background is not defined. Alright, yes, because again we need to const curly braces, we have to destructure background equal to styles, and now is defined. Refresh. Why is it on? This is originally false. Oh, because I haven't put a condition. Okay, I know what is the problem, because we need a condition here. So basically what happening is that's always got added. So in the model I need to pass it down a prop, and the prop should be open, and let's call this model open. Props should code open and pass it down the model open state. And in the model, destructure the open and put a condition here. If not open, then return null, which is nothing. Otherwise, should do that. Now we got back to normal, but if I click this, we're changing our state and we got our model. We cannot click anywhere because this is just a background, so it's working. I think I leave too many console.logs everywhere. Yes, the model planet, we don't need it now. Then we should have the card itself, class name card, and I want to destructure from here, card. Let's style it the card. So this should be position fixed. And let's center it. Top 50%, left 50%, transform, translate, negative 50%, and I want to give a width 50 viewport width, and the background color black. Let's save it and have a look. We have nothing in the model, so to show up we need to put something in there. Let's put an h1. This will be the details model, and let's put a button and just put an X here. Click. This will be the details model. Yes, and we got the button. Now what we want, when we click on this button, we want to flip it over from true to false back. I'm gonna call an onClick here, onClick, and this should be named onClose, which will be coming from the props onClose, and the onClose props will be in the planets here, which will be under here. onClose equal to an arrow function, and set model open to false, and now this should be work. Okay, I did mistype something somewhere. Because when you're creating a modal, we need to create a portal. So what is React portals? Portals provide a first-class way to render children into DOM node that exist outside the DOM hierarchy of the parent component. Normally when you return an element from a component's render method, it's mounted into the DOM as a child of the nearest parent node. However, sometimes it's useful to insert a child into different location in the DOM, like a modal. A typical use case for portals is when a parent component has an overflow hidden, or a z-index style, but you need the child visually break out of its container. For example, dialogues, hover cards, and tooltips. Even though a portal can be anywhere in the DOM tree, it behaves like a normal React child in every other way. How do we do that? Go to Modal and import React DOM from React DOM, and when you're returning React DOM, create portal, and in the end document.get element by ID should be portal, which is haven't exist yet, portal, and go to index.html and create a div with the ID of portal. Oh, mistype it. Our portal is done. Now we should give a z index to our modal to be on top of everything. 41. Okay, we got a Mercury. Open. Close, and it's working. Our model is closing. Window. So only things what is left. We have to style it, and the whole section is done. The model props, we have to send it down the data. So let's give another data props. We have to send it down to the model, which is we clicked on it, is the planet. The model planet, which is the state. If you remember, in this state. Now we send down the props to model, and here we need to catch it as data. The structuring. This will be the details model, where we are now. So we got the card section. We don't need the H1. Let's delete this. Instead of that, I create a div, and inside in the div, I will place this button, which will be going to style it. But first, I place a div where we're gonna have a top image. So class name, let's give a class name of, let's give model image, and we need to destructure from here, model image, and I wanna highlight this model image. Wanna give a width 100%, which is the container width. Height will be 0, and the background image URL, we need to go back to assets, and the model image, model image png. Background repeat, no repeat, and background size will be contain. Problem is, it's not gonna be show anything here. This doesn't have a height because it's 0. If I give a height of 2 rem, we're not gonna see much in the picture. That's it. That's our picture. But I wanted our picture to be all the way down till here. So there is a trick to use. The trick is if I give a padding top to 41%. Now we have our image fully, and even close this. This has got bigger, and it's got bigger as well. So this is our header image for our model. Then next one, style a little bit the button and place it. So let's give a name for this button. Class name. It will be model close. I know loads of people they use these days Tailwind CSS. My approach is I like to keep the components clean as possible. So if I use Tailwind CSS here, then we would have a bunch of CSS classes here, and it will be flooded my code, and it will be difficult to go through. In this way, it's so easily I can control everything in separate file. This is my personal preferences. What we're doing now, button, yeah. So we got the card, model close. We have to destructure this model close, and this is the button, and let's style it, model close, and I want this position to absolute because I want to place it to the from top 10 pixels, and should we go to the right 10 pixel. The background color I want transparent. The border radius should be 50%, so I want rounded, and the cursor should be pointer. Let's see where it is. Sun, yes, and we got a button there. So we got the top part in the card under here, inside in the card. Let's make a condition. If data is not equal to null, so basically if we have any data, first has to be populated and re-render it. Then do this. Otherwise, just leave a div with no data. Okay, div hello. I'm gonna have an h1. I'm gonna have paragraph. So I will need more elements. What's wrong with you now again? JSX element must be wrapped in an enclosing tag. So this should be an empty fragment, and everything will be works perfectly fine. Good. So in the main box, self-closing image with the source code, and the source code we have a data coming through. So this coming from data.image, and the data is the planet, what we clicked. Let's have a look if it's working. Go down. I don't want the sun, I want the Mercury. Click. Yes, obviously this is big, but it's working. So if we're already here, let's give a class name for this. Details image, which we need to destructure from here. Image. And here, I just give a width. 50 rem. Good. I need to give for this div another class name, which is a details box. This is a details box, and it should be before. Display flex. I want to center them. Justify content center. Align items center, and padding to rem. Good. We're gonna have the other part, and we need to have another div here. And this should be wrapped around. Okay. And this div, I should give a class name. Details paragraph. Let's destructure this. And go and style it. So the only style what I'm going to give here is a padding left, gray rem. That's it. So we got our div. So the h1 will be data.name. I mean, even this, if you want, you can destructure like this way, but I'm gonna keep it like this. First paragraph will be data.lock. Another one, data.distance. Another one, let's make this orbital period. Data.details.orbital period. Let's save it, and I want to see what we have till now. Good. This should be on the right side. Yes, the reason why, because I need to push this inside here. This needs to be inside. Yes, now it's on the right side. The next paragraph is length of a day. Again, data.details.length of day. Paragraph. Next one. This is the radius. Data.details.radius. Again, p tag gravity. Data.details.gravity. I have the next one, paragraph moons, and this one should be data.details.moon.map, because this is an array and I take the moon and I want to list them all of them, so we can map through the array. Moon plus comma and space. And the last one, paragraph, this will be data.details.about. Let's save it. Let's have a look. Refresh. Nothing on the console. This is working. We need to work in this button. Let's go to the Earth. More details. Third planet in our solar system. 149.6 million kilometers away from the sun. Obviously it depends on the time of the year. The orbital period, length of the day, 1 day. Earth is the third planet from the sun. It all works perfectly fine. This is good. Modal is pretty much done. The next things what we need to work on it is the button, which is in the planet, model, and in this button we have an on click. So this button, I give a class name of simply button. Let's destructure this from the top, from the styles. Button. Good. And go to the model and go down in the bottom here and button should be text align center, box shadow 0, 0, 5 pixel, 5 pixel black. We got the RGB and 0.8 padding, 0.5 RAM, cursor pointer, background color should be black, and this one should be 45. Width, I want the 100%. Font size 2 RAM, border style none. So this is how we take off the white line around the button, and border radius 10 pixel. Okay, and only one more thing is left, is a button hover, is a background color, should be completely black, and this is changed. Let's make a button a little bit, so the padding should be 1 RAM. This is better. I can close it. Let's go back to the main app JSX. This looks nice and clean. I love this. The power of React. Next one, we need to create a new component. And let's call this footer.jsx. And in the same time, we should create the CSS as well. Footer.module.css. Make the boilerplate. Import style from footer.module.css, and we're going to the structure const equal to styles, and as always I want to do a test. Give a class name test, save it, and here test, make a color lime green this time, and we have a footer text, and we have to import to the bottom, import footer, and let's include this to the bottom. Save it. There you go. We have our footer here down. Now let's work on the section. What we need is import, and let's destructure animation on scroll, React animation on scroll. Delete our test, we don't need it. Delete this old text, they don't need it. We just need a fragment, and we need a div. In this div will be the main part, and I want to give a class name footer, destructure from here. Save it. Delete this. Footer position relative. Animation on scroll is not recommending to messing around with the position, because if you mess around with the position, your entry points will be in the different places. Min width 100%, min height 100% viewpoint height, and the background image will be URL. We need to go out to the assets and anime background PNG. Background repeat, no repeat. Background position center. Background size hover. And the overflow, which is very important, is hidden. Good. Let's see what we have. And we have our background. So the next one under here, it's not going to be under, it will be inside. Inside here, animation on scroll, and here a div, and this will be a class name. This will be the moon. Let's destructure the moon from the styles, moon, and this animation, I want to give animate in, animate slide in left. Let's give a duration of 5. And save it. Create the moon CSS. The moon position absolute, top 100 pixel, left 100 pixel, width 10 RAM, height 10 RAM, and the background image URL. No, I need to go back one. Assets. And this will be, let's use the Pluto. Background repeat, no repeat. Background position center, and background size hover. I mean, I can do it this way, creating this box, or you can use the image tag here. I chose in this way. Let's have a look what we have. Okay, and we got a Pluto. Good. Go to the next one. This will be, let's copy this, easier. Copy, paste, animate in will be zoom in right. Zoom in right. Duration, it should be longer, 8. And here, spaceship. Let's give a class name of spaceship. Destructure this from here, spaceship. spaceship. I'm not using position in this case. This is where I want to use function. So when the animation is finished, a function get triggered. The problem is if I use the position, that function never get triggered because it's always going to be false. And this is why I have to work around and I use a different one. I use a margin left, 80% viewport width, the margin top will be 5 rem. Width will be 5 rem, height will be 5 rem, and the background image URL assets, and I should have a animate spaceship. Background repeat, no repeat. Background position center, background size cover. Save it and let's have a look. Oh, we have to go down. This is where our spaceship came in. Good, it's working. Next one, let's copy this and paste it here. Duration will be 7 and fade in right big. In right big. And this will be from moon, because from the moon is structure, from moon. Save it and let's style it. From moon. This one position absolute, right 50 rem, bottom minus 70 rem. It takes me a while till I position in the place where I want it. Width 60 rem, height 60 rem, and let's copy this, so it should be faster. Change the anime moon big, save this, down. Let's wait. And it's all working. Good, let's do the text. Text will be a div and a paragraph which says we have arrived at the edge of our solar system. Swan. So this is the text. A class name will be simple paragraph. Now this will be, so let me show you. This is on the screen now. No, it isn't. This class name paragraph is not defined yet. Paragraph. And let's make the design for the paragraph. Paragraph, margin 0, font size 2 rem, and padding 1 rem. That's it. This should work now. Yes, so we have a paragraph here. I'm gonna position them down here. And when I make the type effect, the problem is that starts to run as soon as when I load the page. So go back here and give a class name type text, and let's destructure this type text and position this dot type text, position absolute, display a block, bottom 5%, left 50%, transform, translate, minus 50% and minus 50, color just simply green, font weight 300, background color, let's put black as usual. Scroll down and should be 7. Text align center, overflow hidden, border right, let's put 3 pixel, solid orange, white space, no wrap, margin 0 and auto, letter spacing 15 em. Let's see. So we got positioned. Now let's working on the typing effort. I'm gonna call animation. I'm gonna create a keyframes calling this typing for 6 seconds and steps 40 till end. And blink, let's call this blink 0.75 seconds, step end infinity. Let's create these keyframes down here. Keyframes. Typing from width 0 to width 40%. Save. Let's create the other keyframes. Blink from to border color transparent, and then 50% border color orange. Save it. I changed this name to blink carrot, and now is it work. But the problem is, if I refresh it, till you come down, this effect is already starting, because it kicks in straight away when it get this class name. So how do I work around in this? This is just my way to work around. You can do a better way, but I wanted to use what we learned today, is the scroll in animation. So let's target this spaceship. This is the from moon, this is the spaceship. In the spaceship we have the duration, and here after animated in equal to a function, in the curly braces function after animated in again, give a parameter x, and here if x on screen, then console.log on screen base shape. Let's see what's happening here. Refresh, open the console, go down, coming in, and yes, on screen spaceship. So when this one is get logged, that's when the spaceship is stopped. So when the spaceship is stopped, that's when I want to start to type this effect here, type this text. So how do I do that? I'm going to use useState, because I want to monitor a state here. Import useState from React, and in the top, I always like to create in the top. Let's go this timing and set timing equal to useState to false. Let's start to false. So when it's false, I want to give a class. When it's true, I want to give a different class. The false, I want to give a class. It's here. Type text no show and display none. So I want to hide this. Let's destructure this from the style. Yes. And here in this div, instead of to give a type text, we have a timing. If its timing is true, I want to give the type text. If it's false, I want to give a type text no show. So because right now is no show, is it false, it shouldn't be show any text here. But what I'm doing here, instead of console.log, I'm gonna flip the state. So set timing equal to true. I like to do it this way. It's true. Let's give a try. Let's refresh. Go down. Animation start. Ship's coming. Ship stopped. And the effect starts. Yes! And congratulations! We finished the project. Let's give another try. The moon. The moon is an Earth-only natural satellite. All these details is coming, by the way, from Wikipedia and Google. So if any details is wrong, do not punish me. Okay? It's all coming from Wikipedia. I just copy-pasted. I created this API. This is not a legit API. And it's all working. This is the main focus. React animation is scroll. The React app as well. Look at that, how nice and clean. So in our final results, this is fully responsive. Like you can see. And also here, this is became responsive. I have some media query. Then in the bottom, everything is animating in. You have a typer. And this is became fully responsive. I've got some media query in the planets. I've got some in the modal, in the header, and in the footer. Let's go through again. Refresh. Goes down. Animation get triggered. So this is like a real spaceship journey, starting from the sun, and every single time you're passing a planet, you can have some details from the planet. When you reach to Pluto, and you reach the last destination, and this is the little journey what we did with the Captain Swan. I hope you enjoyed this project. and see you at the next one. Happy coding. Bye.